At 25, they traded probably the best scorer in the NBA at 25. And he didn't know about it. I'm excited to see the first time the Lakers play Dallas in Dallas. I'm super excited to see that. Oh my God. It's in a few weeks. If we not playing, I'm buying front row tickets to that. Hey, for real.
Shocked probably like the rest of the world. Just didn't hear it coming, didn't see it coming. Try not to put too much into it. Try to wrap my head around it. I'm glad my job is to put.
I think nobody's safe in the league, it seems like.
The NBA world is reeling from one of the most shocking trades in league history. In a jaw-dropping blockbuster deal, the Los Angeles Lakers have acquired Luka Dončić, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris in exchange for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 first-round pick. This massive shakeup has left fans, analysts, and even players in disbelief. As reactions pour in, some of the league's biggest stars are just as stunned as the rest of us. Among them is Nikola Jokić, one of Doncic's closest friends in the NBA. Their bond runs deep, not just as fellow European superstars, but as players who have faced the challenges of adapting to life in the US together. They've shared the highs and lows of global superstardom, making this sudden change even more personal. So when news of the trade broke, Jokić wasted no time expressing concern for Doncic, understanding just how life-altering this move could be for his friend. Now, as the dust settles, all eyes are on how Doncic will adapt to his new chapter in Los Angeles.
I texted him, he felt it, of course, I think he didn't expect it, of course. I think he just needs to be with his family right now, it's a big move, it's a business, I don't know, I think nobody expected, especially not him. I think nobody's safe in the league, it seems like, but I think he's going to do a good job, I think he's the player for the big C.
Nikola Jokic's reaction to the blockbuster trade wasn't just shock, it carried a sense of loss. It was a harsh reminder of how unforgiving the NBA can be, where deep bonds can be torn apart in an instant. His heartfelt comments on family underscored how tough these moves are, even for the biggest stars. But after the initial disbelief, Jokić found optimism, recognizing that Luka Doncic's talent belongs on a stage as grand as the Los Angeles Lakers. Meanwhile, Steph Curry understands the weight of being a franchise cornerstone. Early in his career, the Warriors considered moving him, but once he proved himself, any trade talk vanished. His legacy in Golden State is bigger than basketball. It's about identity and loyalty, so when Luka's trade news broke, Curry was stunned. But he confidently pointed out that only a select few players are truly untouchable, a group he knows he belongs to. Still, in classic Steph fashion, he ended with a light-hearted take. In the NBA, nothing is ever set in stone.
It's a reminder, maybe only a few in this league that can go to sleep with any type of confidence, but that you'll still be there. It's kind of a very unique situation across the board, but I think just the idea that it happened in silence was pretty crazy. The fact that you hear a trade and everybody thinks somebody's been hacked is hilarious.
The moment the news broke, shockwaves hit the NBA. Many thought ESPN had been hacked. Luka Dončić traded for Anthony Davis? Impossible. What made it even crazier was the total silence before the deal. No leaks, no warning. Even Steph Curry was stunned. Blockbuster trades happen, but this one felt different. Kevin Durant's early years came to mind. Once untouchable in OKC, his talent made trading him unthinkable. Luka was seen the same way, which is why this move left everyone in disbelief. Kevin Durant was just as stunned as everyone else, but one thing stood out to him the most: Luka's age. A superstar in his early 20s is usually the most valuable piece a franchise can have. Luka was supposed to be that for Dallas, yet now he's in Los Angeles. Even Durant couldn't help but marvel at how wild that is. At this point, KD is no stranger to trade chaos, but for Luka, this was likely a much bigger shock. Despite his amusement, Durant acknowledged the emotional toll and extended his sympathies to everyone involved.
Insane, it's crazy. Yeah, would have never thought Luka Dončić get traded at this age, mid-season. Yes, the NBA is a wild place, man. If he can get traded, then anybody's up, for grabs, So yeah, so fans, somebody spectating is pretty fun. I know it's kind of nerve-wracking, probably for Luka and everybody in Dallas, LA, AD.
The last time the NBA saw a trade this shocking, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving were involved. Back then, Dallas took a chance on Kyrie, pairing him with Luka Dončić, a gamble that paid off. The duo silenced doubters, led the Mavericks to the finals, and built a strong bond on and off the court. That's what makes this trade even tougher. After all they accomplished together, being split up so suddenly had to hurt.
Just really shocked, and you just don't imagine that you're going to get ready to go to sleep and then you find out news like that. So it's still a grieving process right now. Miss my hermano. We had a lot of time together.
Kyrie Irving calling this a grieving process says it all. His bond with Luka Dončić was deeper than just basketball. Having experienced multiple trades himself, Kyrie knows the emotional and logistical toll, making his words even more impactful. Meanwhile, Anthony Edwards, one of the few young stars on Luka's level, showed nothing but respect. After facing him in the Western Conference Finals, he had no bad blood, only admiration. Edwards even called Luka the best scorer in the NBA, offering a rare perspective that only another young franchise cornerstone could truly understand.
They say that nobody knew about the trade. Yeah, so that's crazy. At 25, they traded probably the best scorer in the NBA at 25, and he didn't know about it. So it's a lot more digging somebody got to do to find out why he got traded, because you don't just trade him at 25. He just went to the finals, you know what I'm saying? So I feel bad for Luka, man, because I saw some on YouTube that said he just bought a crib and everything in Dallas. So that sucks, man. That sucks.
Anthony Edwards didn't hold back. He called the trade absurd and even hinted that something bigger might be happening behind the scenes. And honestly, he might be right. Moves like this just don't happen, at least not without major reasons. For Luka Dončić, it's a heartbreaking reality. He recently bought a $15 million home in Dallas, fully expecting to spend his entire career with the Mavericks. After everything he gave to the franchise, he had every reason to believe his future was secure. On a lighter note, Josh Hart had his usual fun take. He gave a shout-out to Lakers GM Rob Pelinka for pulling off the deal, but his best comment was a throwback to Pelinka's first big trade, one that, ironically, involved Hart himself.
You gotta give credit to Rob Pelinka, man. He's a highway robbery, Good for them. It's always good, with someone like me when I get traded for like a superstar. So kind of got traded for Luka. So it's kind of great vibe.
Josh Hart has a knack for making light of any situation, and this time was no different. The former Laker, who was originally part of the Blockbuster trade that sent Anthony Davis to Los Angeles from New Orleans, decided to put his own twist on recent events. With a smirk, he joked that through a series of trade connections, he was technically swapped for Luka Dončić. The locker room burst into laughter, but behind the joke was a big truth. Getting traded for Luka is a massive deal. This move shakes up the league. Back in 2019, the Lakers gave up Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart, and 3 first-round picks to land Anthony Davis, a gamble that paid off with a championship. Now, they've managed to flip Davis for one of the most electrifying young stars in the game just as he's hitting his prime. Meanwhile, the Pelicans? They no longer have a single player left from that franchise-altering trade. Of course, Giannis Antetokounmpo had to add his 2 cents in classic fashion. The Greek freak, who's always been vocal about European dominance in the NBA, playfully declared that it's officially time for Europeans to take over the league. He even said Luka was made for the bright lights of LA, and it's hard to argue because if there's anyone built for the Hollywood stage, it's Luka Dončić.
Now that a European will be, I believe, the face of the Lakers, this is something new for Europe. It's never happened before. I just love it. You know what I want? I want Luka to the Lakers. I want Jokic to the Knicks. I want all the Europeans to go to all the big markets, to see something incredible. This is what I want. This is my dream.
Could Giannis Antetokounmpo be dropping a hint about his own future? Speculation about him joining a bigger market team has been swirling for years, with the Golden State Warriors often rumored as a potential landing spot. His recent comments might have been lighthearted, but they could also be a subtle clue that he's keeping his options open beyond Milwaukee. Meanwhile, in Dallas, Klay Thompson found himself at the center of the Mavericks' biggest roster move. After their NBA Finals disappointment, last season, Luka Dončic's availability issues kept the two from fully showcasing their chemistry, but when they did share the floor, it was easy to see why Dallas wanted Klay. His elite off-ball movement and deadly spot-up shooting were The perfect fit alongside Luka's playmaking. Now with Luka out of the picture, Klay's role is bound to shift. Finding open looks won't come as easily, but if there's one thing he's not worried about, it's adapting. He's seen firsthand how dominant Anthony Davis can be, and as a seasoned veteran, he understands the business side of the league better than most. After all, he's already endured a tough contract situation that led to his departure from Golden State. If anyone knows how quickly things can change in the NBA, it's Klay Thompson.
I wish Luka the best. I mean, it was a joy to play with him in those 22 games we were together. But we're going to obviously welcome AD with open arms. You know, obviously one of the best players ever, being top 75. And it's the nature of the business. You have to be professional about all things in front of you. And I look forward to keeping the goal the same.
If there's one player in the NBA who could truly be considered Luka Doncic's rival, it's Devin Booker. Yet when news of the trade broke, Booker wasn't celebrating. Instead, he sounded almost reflective, acknowledging the NBA's unpredictable nature and how even the biggest stars aren't guaranteed stability. Still, there was a slight edge to his tone, a quiet, almost smug reminder that Luka wasn't as untouchable as many once believed, and why wouldn't Booker feel confident? The Phoenix Suns have remained committed to him, solidifying his role as the face of the franchise. But if there's one thing this trade proves, it's that nothing in the NBA is permanent. The Suns have a history of making questionable moves, and as loyal as they seem now, who's to say Booker won't one day find himself in the same position as Luka?
It's crazy, man. I really don't know what to say about it. Luka being a guy that everybody's claimed is untouchable and untradeable, and the NBA shows you again. Just you can't predict. It's a business. They're always having a conversation about you. So don't think you're safe at any point.
Michael Porter Jr. is no stranger to bold opinions, and his reaction to this trade? Pure disbelief. But it's more than just shock. He almost sounds like he suspects there's something bigger at play, as if the full picture hasn't been revealed yet. And honestly, who could blame him? Even in a league where blockbuster trades are an annual spectacle, this one feels different. It's the kind of move that doesn't just shake up rosters. It reshapes the entire NBA landscape.
Obviously, he's a once in a generational player, and now it was just a weird thing overall. So I still feel like there's some facts that are going to come out over time, because it just doesn't. I can't really comprehend how that really makes sense, to be honest.
The player who wasn't involved in the trade but will dominate the conversation? LeBron James. Known for shaping rosters and driving blockbuster moves, many assume he has a hand in every major decision. But this time, reports suggest LeBron was caught off guard. He had no idea the trade was happening. Now he's facing an entirely new challenge. For the first time in his career, he's sharing the court with someone who might actually be better than him.
We're going to attract a lot of eyes. Obviously, our ability to score, rebound, pass, is going to make it a lot easier on our teammates. And that's all we want to do. We want to be able to create opportunities for our teammates where they only have to catch, finish, catch, dunk, catch, shoot. And it's our job to lead them every single night. Listen, Luka's a big-time player, 25 years old. Haven't even reached his prime yet, and he's done some amazing shit in our league already. I'm happy to have him. LA's happy to have him.
It sounds like LeBron James has been thinking about this for a while, maybe even imagining playing alongside Luka. Doncic, long before this trade, became reality. LeBron has been one of Luka's biggest admirers for years, and it's easy to see why. Their games mirror each other, scoring, rebounding, playmaking, and making everyone around them better. Now, those skill sets are joining forces on the same team, creating a nightmare for opposing defenses. Meanwhile, Anthony Davis was just as blindsided as everyone else. The trade was so sudden it felt surreal. One minute, he was settling in for a movie night with his wife, and the next, his entire career had taken a drastic turn. Still, despite the shock, Davis sounded optimistic about his fresh start in Dallas. If nothing else, he knows one thing for sure: the Mavericks must have an incredible amount of faith in him to pull off a deal of this magnitude.
Got the phone call, so I had no idea. I just sent the team text about congratulations on the win against the Knicks, big win, and then looking forward to Tuesday's game against the Clippers as far as standing purposes, and then found out like an hour later I was no longer with the team. So I was in shock, obviously. Had no idea that it was happening, but I mean now I'm kind of over it and just kind of getting ready to play with that.
Deep down, there's probably a big part of Anthony Davis that's excited for this next chapter. For years, he's been vocal about wanting to play power forward, but the Lakers never gave him the ideal front-court partner. In Dallas, that won't be an issue. He'll have plenty of quality centers to play alongside. Now comes the real test. Davis has always insisted this is the best role for him, and with the Mavericks making this move to win now, there's no time for second-guessing. He'll need to embrace his fresh start immediately and prove he can thrive in the system he's always wanted. Meanwhile, Luka Dončić was absolutely blindsided. Reports even suggest he was so overwhelmed by the news that he broke down in tears.
It's just like a dream come true, I always look up to him. There's so many things I can learn from him, and I'm just excited, just to learn everything, and now I get to play with him, so it's an amazing feeling. Yeah, he called me right away. He was in New York, so he called me right away. And we didn't talk much because, he said, I understand what you're feeling, but that was really nice of him just to call me right away and welcome me to LA.
This trade gives fans every reason to believe in the potential of this new superstar duo. LeBron James and Luka Dončić are a perfect fit. Two generational talents with elite basketball IQs who know how to elevate their teammates. The future in Los Angeles just got a whole lot brighter. At just 25 years old, Luka has already cemented himself as one of the game's all-time greats. He's ultra-competitive and fully expected to spend his career with the franchise that just blindsided him. Now, this trade serves as a wake-up call. Luka has always been dominant, but now he's playing with a chip on his shoulder. Questions about his conditioning and work ethic, those could fade fast because if anything can fuel his fire even more, it's this kind of move. While the NBA world is still processing what just happened, one thing is certain. There's never been a more exciting time to be a basketball fan. With stars of this caliber changing the landscape, the possibilities are endless. Now, we just wait to see how it all plays out.